Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the melee weapon, the Edun. Now in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix it with any kind of external factors that would increase weapon performance. That would be things like Archon shards, Warframes using abilities, pets putting statuses on enemies, things like that. I just test the weapon built out by itself, and I let the viewer make their own intelligent conclusions about adding those external things. Now the only difference is that when I do a melee build video, I do use one external, and that is a pet putting statuses on enemies for me. And it's just because almost every melee weapon, minus a few, is going to use a mod called Condition Overload, and Condition Overload requires you to be priming. And just to eliminate the human factor of priming, that way my videos are consistent, I just have a pet that primes for me, which is my Dirija. And it would just be a little bit disingenuous to show a melee build without Condition Overload or without priming. So that's why I add that one external. Okay, so the Edun. The Edun was suggested by commenter Casey. That's why we're taking a look at it today. Casey actually wanted me to do a heavy attack Edun build. And I'm going to show the Edun the way I built it. And I'm also just going to have like a little extra for Casey to make it into a heavy attack Edun. I don't think the heavy attack Edun build is the best way to play the Edun, but I want to give that option for Casey. We also have the top commenter from the last video, Bad User, and the first commenter of the last video, Ozan Mutlu Dursun. Alright, so the Edun, it is a polearm. Pretty cool looking weapon here. Interesting things about the Edun is it's going to be its heavy attack. So you're going to throw the spear. The spear is going to do direct damage, of course, if it hits something. But also, when it lands, it is going to explode after 1 second in a 5-meter radius and do blast damage. Now, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant about the Edun's heavy attack here. So, the projectile is extremely thin. Like, the hitbox of it is like a pixel. So, if you watched like the last melee video we did, the Chorifel, that projectile, when it shoots, is a fat hitbox. Like the hitbox is even bigger than the visual effect of the projectile. This one, it's the opposite. The projectile is extremely thin. So unless it actually like makes contact with something, it won't count as hitting anything. The other thing that I hate is that it doesn't actually hit your reticle. It hits to the right, just barely, like a little bit to the right of your center reticle, which makes it even harder. So it's a thin projectile. It doesn't actually hit like the center of like where you're aiming. It hits just to the right of it. And the other thing is that the blast of it seems inconsistent. Like sometimes it seems like it does good damage. Sometimes it seems like it does absolutely nothing. And I can't really explain it. So I am not a huge fan of the heavy attack of the Edun, which is why I'm going to show the heavy attack build for Casey, but I'm not going to be building it that way. Now, something that I think some people know this, but I think some people also don't know this, is you don't have to spend your Tennokai on regular heavy attacks. You can actually spend your Tennokai in a heavy slam. So with the Edun, the way I'm going to play it is going to be heavy slamming with it. I'm not really going to be throwing it. I might do it once in a while just to show it off, but I'm going to be spending my Tennokai into heavy slams. Okay. So I think that is about it for the interesting things about the Edun here. So let's get into the mods. So we're going to have Voltaic Strike for our 6060 electric mod. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. The reason we're using Voltaic Strike is because we're using an arcane called Melee Influence. Melee Influence is very powerful, but it does require you to have electric on your weapon, which isn't too bad. It's just one mod slot. So we put our Voltaic Strike. Make sure you're using the 6060. That way you get a little bit more status chance with it. This weapon's status chance is not great, but with Voltaic Strike and with Weeping Wounds, it's at least acceptable when it reaches the full stack with Weeping Wounds here. Sacrificial Steel is going to be for crit chance. Organ Shatter is going to be for crit damage. Gladiator Might is going to be for 60% crit damage and 120% critical chance. Condition Overload is going to be a large flat damage increase. So we're going to get some flat damage per unique status affecting the enemy. I'm not going to show off my Dirija Primer build, because I've already done a video on it. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and watch that. But our Dirija is going to consistently put 6 to 8 statuses on enemies around us. So, 6 to 8 times 80 is quite a bit. So it's a lot of flat damage there. Berserker Fury for 70% melee attack speed. And then we're going to have our 2 mods here that stack with combo multiplier. So we're going to have Blood Rush, which is critical chance, and Weeping Wounds, which is status chance, stacked with combo multiplier. The 2 mods up top, we're going to have the stance first. All of the stances are really nice, actually, for polearms. So you're going to start with the stance, I believe, for Shimmering Blight. And Shimmering Blight is really nice also. But you have access, or you have options for Bleeding Willow and Twirling Spire also, although they're different polarities. But these are all really good stances. I'm going to show them off as well after we're done looking at the mods here. So really, pick whatever the hell you want. If you don't feel like spending a Forma here, you could just go with Shimmering Blight too, because that's a really good one. Okay, in the Tennokai slot, we're going to be going for Opportunities Reach. This is important, and I believe this is pretty much your only choice because of the way the Edun works. So, we're going to be going for slams when we get our Tennokai up. Now, slams take a little bit more time to do. It's not as simple as pressing your middle click. You're going to actually have to kind of hop in the air, aim down, and then attack. So, for that reason, we need a little bit more time, and Opportunities Reach gives us a little bit more of that time to do that. So, that's why it's very important. Now, this is specifically for Casey that wants to make this into a heavy attack build, okay? So, for a heavy attack Edun, you should consider, instead of melee influence, there's a arcane called melee animosity. This is going to give your heavy attack a metric butt ton of critical chance. So your heavy attack, and this goes for pretty much like any of the like gun blades or things that shoot out or throw things. Like you can make them into like death lasers, death cannons with melee animosity. It's not always your best pick because it's just for your heavy attack, so it doesn't really affect like your little attacks, but it will make your heavy attack like crazy. So if you're watching Casey, try out melee animosity. That may make the throw like super strong. It's already strong. It's just I wish that blast was a little bit stronger, but this might make it even better. And then, of course, Casey, if you're watching, then you wouldn't need Voltaic Strike, and you could put something else here. You could either go with Primed Reach and give yourself more range, because this weapon has 3-meter range, which is good enough, which is why we're not going for Reach here. But, of course, if you're watching Casey, you're not going to need Voltaic Strike if you go with the other Arcane. So you would probably just put Primed Reach here, get a little bit more range. You'd get 6 meters then, which is crazy. Okay. So I think that is everything with the Edun here. Right, we went over everything? I think so. So we're going to showcase the stances next. So I'll have everything timestamped. So if you're not interested in looking at the different stances, that's completely fine. You could always skip ahead to the next little section. But it won't take too long. It'll take about 5 minutes. But all these, I really like all of these stances. Most weapons have like complete garbage stances and you're trying to search through the garbage to figure out which is the least of the garbage. Not this one. These are all really good. So what the hell do I have on here right now? I have on Twirling Spire, okay? So we're going to show Twirling Spire off first. So I'm going to start with the forward light, which is just walking forward with W and holding E. Very swirly attacks, but it is, stop and go, stop and go. So you're not moving very quick with it. Neutral light, which is not holding W and holding E. Very, very forward stabbing. I usually don't like that, but it's okay against like single targets like the Acolyte. Okay, let's see if the neutral heavy, or neutral block I should say, is any different. It is, okay. That's okay. I like the twirliness. I don't really like the stab at the end. And we'll see if the forward block is any different, which is W, E, end block. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. That's a little bit weird. Okay, so you're really just using this one, I guess, for the for this one right here. Very swirly. I like it. It's just that you don't move very quick with it. Why am I going on a Naros? Oh my goodness. Go on the Edun. Stances. Let's try out Bleeding Willow next. All right, we'll do the forward light. So this is just walking forward, holding E. Really nice. There's no stop and go here. You're definitely moving at full speed. And it's still pretty twirly. You're still basically hitting everything like to your left, right, and forward, which I like a lot. Okay. Forward neutral, so not holding W and holding E. Basically the same thing, except you're just not moving forward with it. So that's kind of cool. Let's do the forward block. It's okay. A little bit weird for me. I probably wouldn't do that too much. It's cool, though. And let's do the neutral block, which is not moving forward, but blocking. Same as the light. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. And then, finally, let's check out the stance that actually starts on, or the polarity for the stance that starts with the weapon, which is Shimmering Blight. And this is also really good. I'm actually probably going to do the gameplay with Shimmering Blight, just because... that's what most people are going to have. Most people might not like change the stance. So I'll just show it with Shimmering Blight because I like all three of them. So this is going to be Shimmering Blight here. So we'll start with the forward light. Very similar to the last one. I think it's actually the exact same. So no stop and go. It's very just forward moving. Let's do the neutral light. Same as the last one. Let's do the forward block. I actually like that forward block a little bit more than the other forward block from the last stance, just because it has a lot of twirly attacks. It hits everything around you. I still probably wouldn't do it too much. I'd still probably mostly do the forward light here. All right, let's see if the neutral block's any different. No, okay. So it's got a different forward block basically. So yeah, we'll do the gameplay with Shimmering Blight here, just because most people are going to have this, and we're probably going to mostly do this. But the forward block was pretty cool too, this little twirliness, so I might throw a forward block in once in a while. Alrighty, that's it with the stances. Let's head back to Orbiter, and then we will start the gameplay here. I like showing off the stances just because I know when I was like newer to Warframe, I was trying to look for things, and it's hard to find certain information. Stances are one that's hard to find, so... Okay, let's do a mot. We're just going to do like a 10. I think I do 10 minutes. Yeah, 10-minute mot. Steel path, of course.
Accept your death, and you may yet avoid it.
The only ability I'm going to be using is going to be my 3, which is just gives me armor and status immunity. That's all it does. So don't worry about that. So once in a while, you might see me do that. I won't be using any other abilities.
Trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
So I just hop in the air, I slam down, and that will spend the Tennokai, and that won't spend my combo. But I will show off the throw for it though too. Let me next time I get it, I'll throw it. Here we go. I think it might have hit that one Corpus dude. You know, it's not like the Chlorophyll that's got a really fat projectile. Like the Chlorophyll, you could just aim down a hallway and it'll kill like everything in that friggin' hallway. The Edun, it's like pinpoint. Let me see here. Let me try to get one. There we go. I think I hit the dude in the back. I'm just not very impressed with the Edun's heavy attack. So I do the slam with it most of the time. I'll just show it off once in a while just for people to see it. You know, and that way you can make your own decision. Be like, hey, I kind of like it. I want to use it. Or, hey, I'm going to do what Salt does and just heavy attack with my Tennokai. And fall in water. Oh, I did spear that one guy. Let's see. Nope. Oh, the blast got him, though. Yeah, sometimes the blast is good, and sometimes, like, it literally does nothing. And I'm like, isn't there supposed to be a blast effect to it? But you're going to be red critting like crazy with this weapon. This weapon does have a very high crit chance. So it is red crit city. I've actually switched to using this weapon on Titania, and it was because I forgot the user. If you're watching, please let me know. But there was someone that commented on my Titania video and gave me a great idea for a combo with Titania, and it's because polearms have access to a weapon, or not a weapon, a mod, that reduces your damage while you're in midair, and it's only polearms. And I did testing with my buddy. We went in the simulacrum. We turned on friendly fire because I wanted to see like what the damage numbers were against me, and it worked. So like I wasn't at cap or whatever. I don't know if they've gotten rid of like damage reduction cap or whatnot, but I wasn't sure on that. I wasn't sure if there was like still a DR cap. But yeah, it was still reducing my damage taken. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like even though it's only 20%, it's still something. So, yeah, that user gave me a great idea. I started using polearms with Titania. Not to actually use them, but just to basically have it on my weapon as a stat stick for 20% more damage reduction. And I picked the Edun just because it looked the prettiest. That was the reason I picked the Edun. For no reason other than it looked the prettiest. That's why if you watch my Titania video and you look at the Edun here, you'll be like, oh, they're actually colored the same. Yeah, it's because it's my Titania Edun. And the only difference is that I have that mod on. I forgot what the mod is called, but it gives a little bit. I think it's something Boreal. Boreal Contempt, maybe? Boreal's Contempt. Yeah, we'll do about 10 minutes here. Melee videos are good, but the gameplay is sometimes boring because it's literally just like running around holding E. So I'll try to mix in some stuff. I'll throw that spear and hit literally no one. They need to make the spear hitbox fatter. That's what they need to do. You know how like the Paris and the Dread Incarnon, like it gives the projectile like wings, where it like is wider. They need to do that for the Edun throw. They need to give it wings. It needs to drink some Red Bull. Also, when you heavy slam, I mean, again, most people probably will know this, but if you heavy slam, it also produces the lifted status on those enemies. And the lifted status can combo with certain things. Certain mods or abilities may have increased like benefits from the lifted status. And there's not many things in the game that produces lifted status. I mean, obviously, heavy attacking is a big thing. Like, everyone can heavy attack. But other than heavy attack slamming, there's not much in the game that produces the lifted status. I think there's like 2 Warframes and Bone Widow, and that's about it.
Cleanse this place of their impurity.
You know, I just switched to doing these on Mott, and if you've watched my videos, I always say that I'm more of a range player. Like, I don't do a lot of melee, and I have noticed that Vor is a pain in the butt to kill with melee, because for range you just shoot his tummy, but I guess in melee, like, his tummy is just a little bit too high. I don't know. Is there any tricks to killing Vor with melee? You gotta, like, kind of jump and then, like, you know, gently caress his tummy to kill him, or... I mean, I'll kill him eventually, but it's like not killing him as quick as like my ranged weapons do, because of course you could just aim at his tummy.
Death is temporary. My existence is forever. I cannot be destroyed.
Not that he's super dangerous. I mean, he just kind of sits there and yells at you the entire time. Oh, I missed that spear on that Eximus. It's just annoying. The spear is so annoying with this. Oh. Missed it again. Yeah, they need to give it wings. They need to give it the Dread or the Paris Incarnon, like, wings that they get. But, I mean, heavy slams are super strong, too, though. So, like, I'm not too upset about, like, heavy slamming instead of Tennokaing. It's just at that point, like, why are you using this? Like, there's probably, because everything can heavy slam. Like, every weapon can heavy slam, so. I mean, it does have a really high crit chance. You know, that's a good thing about it, but. I don't know. We go through all the weapons. We go through all the Steel Path viable weapons. This is one of them, so, I'm grateful to have built this out and got that suggestion from you, Casey. I appreciate it. We're almost done here. We got a minute left. I mean, and most of the weapons in the game are Steel Path viable. There's only like a select few that aren't. The Stug comes to mind. At one point, I actually thought the Embolist was also not Steel Path viable, and I built an Embolist a couple months ago, and it was Steel Path viable. Not good, of course. Not good. But it was at least killing Steel Path enemies. Somewhat quickly, you know. The Stug can kill Steel Path enemies, just not efficiently whatsoever. That's why I don't consider it Steel Path viable. You're an actual hindrance to your team bringing a Stug. The Embolist is just weak. You're not an actual hindrance. Alright, let's see. 10 minutes, the Ghoul Saw got, like, over 1,000 kills. That's become my marker, is that we're trying to beat this friggin' Ghoul Saw. For 10 minutes. We'll see here. Alright, let's see here. 977. Okay, we didn't technically beat the Ghoul Saw, but we came pretty damn close. I think the Ghoul Saw was 1,022. So this is... I think some of the dudes just died from Slash Brock, so I'm at 979 now. So we weren't too far away from the Ghoul Saw. I can accept that. I can accept that. Here's up top. So yeah, it's a good weapon. It's just its heavy attack is very annoying. So, and the heavy attack is a big reason why you pick weapons nowadays with the Tennokai. Like, before you could just completely ignore the heavy attack, because unless you were going for a heavy attack build, you would just never heavy attack. Now with Tennokai, you get heavy attacks for free, so why not? But when a weapon has a poor heavy attack, it's like, yeah, it's a big hit on the weapon. But so I just turned it into a slam build, which is fine. But like I said, at that point, you do have to kind of ask, well, why am I using this then? I don't know. Give me your guys' thoughts. What do you think about the Edun? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Does it have fashion frame potential, maybe? And that's why you'd go for it? So, yeah, that should be it, guys. If you like the video, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing, or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. I'll add them to my list. I still have a big list of suggestions here. If you've suggested something in the past, suggest it again, because I am writing down the names of the commenters. That way I can kind of showcase people in the community as well. So like I have a lot of stuff written down here. Like I have Paracesis written down that someone suggested, but I can't remember who suggested it. So Opticore I have written down. Yeah, there's a few things I have written down that I just don't have the people that suggested them. I can go through the comments, but that takes me a while. So yeah. So thanks, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. All right.